Hey, what's up guys, Somebody here. We are back with another show. Bafana versus Morocco. And I'm a Betway fraudulent journalist. Let's go.
That's how it goes?
They keep asking about the best when they know it's me.
Okay.
Asking about the rest when they know it's me.
Straight in, I guess.
You know it's me.
Let's kick things off with Baloyi. Kaizer Chiefs legend came out with comments last week, spoke about Atozwane and the football club, said that you can change Atozwane, but not much is going to change. He said more than 50% of that squad is not Kaizer Chiefs material, criticizing the recruitment of the club. Now, when he says more than 50%, is it 51? Is it 98? Is it 71? I wanted him to be more specific with that because I disagreed. I disagreed with these comments because I looked at the likes of Mart, Keegan Dolly, and as well as Khota. They were on the radar of Bafana. And now they're not being selected anymore. Zita Kwenika, what he did at Stellenbosch, now he comes in, he makes so many mistakes. Njabule Ngcobo was the defender of the season. Did everybody forget that? Ashu Duprier, he scored goals at Stellenbosch. He was a top goal scorer. It comes to Kaizer Chiefs, he should have scored more, if we're being honest. This squad, for me, is better than SuperSport United squad and Cape Town City squad. It's something that I've been saying all along, but they finished behind them. And you know why they finished behind them? For me, it's simple. The one bench had Eric Tinkler, the one bench had Gavin Hunt, and the other one had Atozwane. He couldn't cope. He couldn't cope with the pressure, and that's what I saw with regards to Atozwane. So I made these comments in terms of disagreeing with him. And a lot of people came out on social media. They came after me. Yep, they came after me. They said a lot of things. I asked my producer to pick out some of the tweets of the people, and I wanted to respond to you guys because I'm hearing you guys. I'm hearing you guys when you guys speak. So I asked him to pick out the tweets, and this is what he's come up with. Tweet number 1. What I love about this tweet, he speaks about Mkhulisa Mudau. He speaks about also Neomayama having to come to Sundowns Football Club and even the way that they've developed and they've become better. And also he highlights Reef Frosler, Njabule Ngcobo, Nkosimpile Ngcobo as well, Sehota, if they were also improved, because that's the job of a coach, is to improve the player. Tweet number 2, few questions for me. Okay, question number 1. My expectation was the fact that he should have finished top 4. That's what he should have done. But he didn't do that. He finished 5th. Your second question, he didn't finish 4th, did he? He failed, right? And the third question, you speak about the blunders that the players made. Now, the question I have for you, of course, if they didn't make those blunders, Kaizer Chiefs would have finished in a higher place. Definitely. But the question I have for you is, how come these players were making those mistakes for 10 months? 10 months. Where is the coaching that's happening at training? Tweet number 3. Let me address this once and for all, guys. I am not a journalist. I am not a journalist. I have never stated that I'm a journalist, guys. So where you guys get this idea that I'm a journalist, I don't know where y'all get it from. I'm a football enthusiast. I love the game and I like to give my opinion just like you guys. So the next time someone calls me a journalist, I'm not a journalist. Tweet number 4, I'm not anti-Mangete. One thing I appreciate is that you're trying to find clarity in the sense that there were so many tweets that I put out. I'm not anti him. No, I want him to succeed. If everybody can go back to the start of the season, I was for him. I wanted him to be a success. And I've already accepted that next season, he's going to be Kaizer Chiefs head coach. But if he makes mistakes in the way that he does, he has to be called out. He has to be called out. And that is what I'm always going to do. Tweet number 5. Apparently, I'm a plumber journal. You know what? I don't mind. I don't mind. Please call me that, guys, because somebody has to make sure the water we drink in South African football is clean. And if I have to do the dirty job, I do not mind. And hey, Jose just won 2 trophies being called a plumber. Call me all that. Tweet number 6. Real Timidi. I really wish you read my tweet to understand, because what I was trying to say is Chiefs have quality enough to compete for top 4. Now, you rolled out all these names that went to Sundowns and went to Pirates. The difference is they're just not playing at Orlando Pirates or Mamelodi Sundowns, but they are not bad players. But don't come at me with this Chiefs don't have the quality. All of a sudden, they move to Chiefs and then these players are not good. That's what I was trying to say. Master P. When I saw this tweet, I laughed because I've got nothing against him. Nothing against him whatsoever. And I find it funny because a couple of years ago, you marched to Naturena, walking all big with the speaker, and you're telling management what they need to do. You even gave them a memorandum as well. But as soon as I have something to say, I'm the fraudulent journalist. The hypocrisy in this Kaizer Chiefs fan base is appalling. The moral of the story is, don't give me that nonsense that Others-Zwane did not have material to compete with. Some of these players came in and they have regressed without a shadow of a doubt. There is not a single player in the Bafana squad from Kaizer Chiefs. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? We'll see as to what happens. But for me, Others-Zwane, next season, I'm watching you. Bafana versus Morocco this weekend. Yes, it's a big one. Not much to play for because we've already qualified. Got in touch with Far Post editor Mthokozisi Dube. Covers the ABC Motsepe, covers NFD, covers the S2EP Premiership, even covers the continent too. Spoke about a lot. Hugo Bruce, Kodisang, he's not called up again. And also, will we ever qualify for a World Cup? Okay, so another show, Playing the Field with Shakes. This time around, we have a great guest. This guy covers ABC Motsepe League. This guy covers the Petrus Motsepe Foundation Championship, the S2EP Premiership, and as well as Africa. There's nothing that this guy does not cover, basically. Far Post editor, Mthokozisi Dube, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Speaking to you from Tanga, northeast of Tanzania, man. I'm doing great, enjoying myself here. Looking forward to the final here in Tanga tomorrow. So I'm excited, man.
Unbelievable. Just to confirm with everybody who's watching the show, this is not Mthokozisi Dube that was playing right back at Pirates and Golden Arrows.
It's so funny, man, because I think at the start of last season, I was added to the Pirates group.
Were you?
And I'm like, okay, what's happening here? So, and then I got a message to say, oh, what's your t-shirt size? And da-da-da. I'm like, wow, okay, this is interesting. Only to realize, no, they thought I was Mthokozisi Dube the right back. So I'm not the same Mthokozisi.
Unbelievable. Yo, what a story, man. So this week, of course, it's Bafana.
Yeah.
The final squad was announced. We're playing against Morocco over the weekend. Hugo Bruce has come in. Eh? What have you made of Hugo Bruce ever since he's come in? Like, what is your thoughts when you hear the word Hugo Bruce?
Oh, look, man. I think it's many things, man. I think he's done fairly fine. I think I look at his record: 16 games, 8 wins, 4 draws, and I think 3 draws. Sorry, it's actually 9 wins. 9 wins. There are 4 draws and 3 losses. Fair enough. But I think long term, I'm actually just wondering, how long are we going to have him? Do we have a succession plan? Because, I mean, you need that continuity. So I'm a bit scared when it comes to the future, because I don't see the succession plan, who takes over when he's gone. So, yeah, I mean, it's quite a number of things. But also, I think the other thing that really concerns me, I feel he's a bit inconsistent, man, in terms of team selection. One moment he says this, and the next moment it's something else. So, yeah, man, I'm of mixed feelings.
Yeah. No, I mean, the mixed feelings thing, everybody's almost having the same feeling regarding him. And you're already touching on the fact that the call-ups as well. Because sometimes you'll say this, and then the call-up criteria is very different for him. So a player that's like, I think for me, is like probably the biggest omission is Kodisang. Kodisang has played really well in Portugal. He's been left out again. I'm asking myself, does he not fancy him? What do you think the problem is?
The Kodisang issue, I think it's really weird, man, because I remember before the Liberia game, when we asked the coach to say, but coach, why not Kodisang? And I've asked him also just when he played the 2 friendlies against Angola and Mozambique, I asked him, coach, why not calling Kodisang? And his answer to me was that, look, I feel the league that he's playing in is not as competitive. The intensity thing, man. I mean, for me, that's hogwash, man. There's no such thing. I mean, he calls Pepelo Chole, who plays in the same team, same league, for a team that's facing relegation, not playing consistently, not a consistent starter for his team, but he still calls him. But when it comes to Korisang, the intensity of the game is too high for him. I mean, like, that doesn't make sense for me. I look at Korisang's numbers, man. I mean, he scored 13 goals, this season, 5 assists. I think 18 goal contributions in 35 games for a. I think decent. I feel Korisang does need he does deserve a chance to come and prove himself. When you look at how he played at the Olympics, man, I mean, he was incredible. For me, he was a standout player, and I feel he deserves to be in that team. I mean, I've argued. I know a lot of people will not agree with me, but I would love to see him get the same chances that Saleng has gotten. I tend to feel he's a better player than Saleng. Of course, a lot of people won't agree with me, but I'm waiting for the day when Korisang will get the chance to come and prove himself. So it just doesn't make sense for me why Hugo Broos is not giving the boy a chance. This is a dead rubber game against Morocco. Surely he could call the boy, man, and give him a chance to come and show what he's capable of.
I mean, it's a very good point, because, when I go back to Olympics as well, I mean, our standout players within that particular tournament, I was really impressed with Dube, and obviously he's gone on to really do good things. But even Korisang, man, Korisang was really he was so vibrant as well in terms of the way that he played. Now, you sort of asked the question with South Africa, are we falling behind by not including our international talent such as Korisang as well? And he brings up Stole, who plays in the same league in a team that's lower, but he doesn't bring up Korisang. And you sort of ask yourself that, I mean, what does a player need to do? Does he need to come back here and play well, and then only then he gets called up? But he's playing overseas. So are we falling behind as a nation by not looking outside at players that are doing really well?
Look, man, I think it would be a bit tricky to say we're falling behind because we're overlooking players who are based overseas. Because I think there's many factors, man. Of course, that's one of them. Okay, I'm going to mention the other reasons that I feel are reason for falling behind. Yeah. But in February, I was in Morocco, and I interviewed the spokesperson of the federation, and he was just explaining to me what it took for them to build a competitive team. And one of the things they mentioned was that they went into Europe on a scouting expedition to find players that are eligible to play for Morocco, convince them, make sure they are willing to sort of assimilate and adapt and be able to represent the country. And I think what Morocco did at the World Cup is testament of what one can do if you go that route. And I feel there's a number of players that actually deserve to get a chance and obviously show what they're capable of. I mean, a team that's facing relegation, but he comes here, he becomes he does well, man. He does exceptionally well. He's not playing consistently for the team. He comes to Bafana and he does well. I mean, Luke Leroux, given him a chance, the boy has gone in and he's done very well. I think for me, those are examples that if you look through Europe, you could actually get players that would come in and obviously compete, because the intensity of the game in the DStv Premiership and in Europe, it's totally different. The level is totally different. So I actually feel bringing in those players and blending them in with those that are in the local league that are doing well will actually go a long way in improving the team. So
the funny thing is that you're obviously speaking about the level of where DStv Premiership is, the left back with that goal where he got a top goal scorer who's not even part of the final squad. One of the things that was a highlight for me at the last World Cup, when I looked at Tunisia, when I looked at Morocco, when I looked at Cameroon, when I looked at those sides, Ghana as well, a lot of the players were playing internationally. Like, that was something I was like, we can't ignore this fact. It's like, yes, I love the DStv Premiership. It's a product that I really love and I cover. But we can't ignore that we do need our talents to be overseas, playing in the best leagues in the world. Because most of those players, I mean, you just saw Morocco striker just won the Europa League. We need to have that level of player. The goalkeeper as well, making crucial saves, Bonu as well. I mean, I'm asking myself the question is that, does SAFA and as well as PSL need to work together in order to get youngsters out. We need to get them out as quickly as possible.
Yeah. It's no rocket science, man. If African football is going to progress, SAFA and the PSL need to come together and work together. You know, I remember just before the Liberia game, SAFA wrote a letter to the PSL to say, can we push the games for the weekend, for just one weekend? You know, they wanted to one round of games cancelled for the DStv Premiership and the Mtsepe Foundation Championship. And the reason was the under-23s needed to go into camp, Bafana needed to go into camp, and SAFA, you know, the PSL basically refused. What does that tell you? There's a problem, because what it means is it then affects the preparations of the national teams, because there's no cooperation from the PSL. And then you also look at, I mean, there's been a recent story about increasing the league to 18 teams, which they believe would actually obviously increase the pool of selection for the national team. You know, whether that makes sense or not, but it's a conversation. I mean, SAFA have actually, but there's no engagement. There's no positive engagement between the PSL and SAFA. That's a problem, you know. That's a problem. So I feel there has to be that synergy. I mean, you look at countries who are successful. I mean, in Morocco, the Morocco FA, they also run the Botola League, you know. So the Morocco FA decides the national team is going into camp for a month. No one is going to oppose them.
No, man, it's very, very key, and I agree with you. I mean, even now, recently, our under-17s got battered by Senegal. You know, they went to the tournament. They got battered. Our under-20s were not able to make it. We're not going to Olympics again. And it's a situation you sort of find yourselves in. The last time we properly qualified in Mthokozisi for a World Cup was 2002. I mean, 2010 we hosted it, yes, but on merit was 2002. One of the things I fear the most is, do you ever think South Africa will qualify for a World Cup again with where we're going?
Look, I think we will. I'm very positive. I think the action that Hugo Bruce is taking is of course it's taking too long, you know, because of a number of things. I feel in terms of scouting, we're still very far. I've asked the question to the coach to say, Coach, how do you scout players that are overseas? You know, and I think the answer for me was not convincing. To say, no, we do have an app, you know, that we use to scout players. And for me, that's not convincing. I think it's important to go and watch, you know, players. Of course, we do believe, you know, it's now a digital world. Yes, you are going to the apps and all that. But you need to go and watch the player. You need to engage the player and understand, you know, where they are, the surroundings. I mean, if you're gonna sit and watch the player, let's say Kobamelo, you are actually likely to make a better informed decision, you know, based on watching him. I mean, when it's a break, Hugo Bruce is away, he's in Belgium. Why doesn't he go to all these, you know, players that are overseas? I mean, from Europe, connecting and moving around is not as hectic as it would be for him to fly from here to go and watch the players, or whoever is scouting for, you know, for Bafana. But I think the fact that last time around we came very close, we were robbed in Ghana. Had we not been robbed, you know, probably we could have, you know, proceeded, and, you know, who knows. So I feel we're very close.
So let me put you on the spot then, because I do love the optimism then. 2026, is Bafana gonna be there, yes or no?
I'd say yes. Yes, Bafana is gonna be there. Obviously, you know, the increased number of teams, and also the progress that Bafana is making is quite positive. I think we're getting there, man. Slowly, you know, I see this team slowly coming together. You know, the young players that Hugo has brought in, they've come in and they are already showing signs of players that would have an impact. I mean, I look at let's say Pepelos Tole. I look at Kodisa. Sorry, why am I saying Kodisa? I'm sure he should give a chance. I look at Luke Liru. I look at Kesha Smailula. Hopefully, he goes to Europe soon. I look at Bongogu Shehlongwana. I mean, he's doing very well at Minnesota.
Well, yes.
I look at Lyle Foster. I expect him to obviously grow, from his time now in England. So I'm looking at a number of players that Hugo Bruce is gradually bringing in. Tebogo Mokoena, very competitive, though he plays locally.
Yeah, and also to mention in Jablo Blom, he's going to be playing with Lionel Messi in the same league. I mean, that's a dream. That's a dream on its own. So big ups to him on that. Morocco's coming up this coming weekend. Yeah. What do you expect to see? Like, of course, they've also called up a really decent squad as well. But what do you expect to see over the weekend?
Look, I mean, being a dead rubber, I expect Morocco to obviously, try and give chances to players that are not regulars in their national team. On our end, I expect want to win the game. I mean, it would be a morale booster for South Africa to beat Morocco. So I expect him to obviously go all out and put out a very strong team. We've got to win, the game. It would be a massive boost to beat World Cup semi-finalists, ahead of the AFCON in January next year. So I expect to go all out and try and win the game. And when I look at the way we played against Morocco the last time around when they beat us 2-1, I feel we could have won the game. I feel we could have won the game. And I feel if we go all out and fight, I believe we can actually win the game, man, and that would be a massive for us going to the AFCON.
The last time we went all the way, the last time we went and won it was in 1996, and the coach that was there was Clive Barker, and wow, he's no more. He's no more, unfortunately, and may his soul rest in peace. What would be your fond memories of Clive Barker?
Look, man, I think you'd forgive me because I think then I was a bit young, but from what I saw in my engagements with players who played under him, I think there's quite a number of things. I think for me it's his celebration. I think his celebration to me says this is someone who's passionate, as though it's a flight about to take off, someone who's really passionate. I mean, who had a very close relationship with his players. I remember speaking to Dr. Kumalo, I think must have been 2 years ago, and he was just telling me how much of a fatherly figure Coach Barker was, to them, how he had this open door policy. Players could actually literally go to his room and sit and talk to him. I mean, Dr. Kumalo was telling me that Clive wanted to know the welfare of the players, genuinely, you knew that he really means it when he asks about your welfare, so I think it feels like that's what, made him a success in as far as coaching, because the players actually fought for him, they went in there, just they would die for him because of the kind of person that he was, that being the father was there for him, who, for them, who cared for, for the players' welfare. Didn't just want to get results out of them. Didn't want to just get, the players playing well, but he wanted to know if they were okay, and genuinely so, So this is what I gather from, people like Dr. Kumalo who played under him. Desiree Ellis also, speaks of how just watching the AFCON in 1996, how she feels she was impacted by the men, and also, going to win the AFCON, last year. So, look, man, I think it's a massive loss. All the experience that he had, man. I think he's one man that there's a lot of lessons to learn from. If you're gonna talk about winning in AFCON, I mean, who else do you talk to? Clive. So yeah, man.
No, 100%. That is our most successful coach South African coach, to take us all the way. It's a moment that keeps replaying on and on. We always see those pictures of Neil Tovey and Nelson Mandela. Like, it was a really special moment within itself. And to the Barker family, my condolences to them. Wanna ask, Mthokozisi, where do people find you?
Okay, so people can find us on our website. It's www.farpost. That's FARPOST.co.za. That's our website, and then we also on social media. On Twitter, we are FarPostZA, and then on Instagram as well, FarPostZA, and then on Facebook, we are FarPost, and also on YouTube, FarPost Soccer News. So yeah, that's where people can find us.
Awesome, man. Mthokozisi Dube, all the best with your career. I don't know which club you're gonna play for next, but all the best.
Young Africans of Tanzania.
Thank you so much, man. It's giveaway time. Win double tickets to Bafana versus Morocco this weekend. All you have to do is subscribe and comment with your email address. I will be announcing 3 winners this Thursday. All the best. It's time for our weekly bet of the week. The purpose of this segment is to show you my bet slip in hopes that it helps yours light and green. The more accurate, the more cash you get. Let's get into it. Despite the season coming to an end, club season that is, there's still a lot of games, international friendlies, qualifiers, and Nations League as well. Let's go through the games. Netherlands against Croatia. I've gone with either Netherlands to win or Croatia to win. Uruguay against Nicaragua. I've gone with Uruguay to win that game. Japan to beat El Salvador. Argentina to beat Australia. Sweden to beat New Zealand. Denmark to beat Northern Ireland. And Wales to beat Armenia. My odds are 5.04. 5 times my money back. Before I do go as well, Betway's got this amazing thing, Mahala Jackpot. It's free to play. It's a jackpot that you can play. It's a daily jackpot, and you can win up to 25,000 rands. It will be on up until August. There's a picture there for you to see. If you want to win with me and Betway, click on the link below. That is Bet of the Week, sponsored by Betway. Remember to practice responsible betting at betway.co.za. Until the next one, all the best. We've come to the end of the show. On a sad note though, Clive Barker, our most successful Bafana coach, has passed on. My condolences go out to his family. And for you that's watching, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified for future episodes.